And here's the next thing. I don't. A part of me, I believe like some of the staff that works there. I think that they have had some issues, with probably some of the other producers and people like that on the show. I don't necessarily know if it's coming from Ellen, but I think probably what they were saying too, because her name is on the show, because she's Ellen, that she should know what's happening. That you didn't think that she should know what's happening with her, with people on her staff. And I do agree with that. I'm like one of those people too that here you go. I'm one of those people that always want to be like hands on. So I always want to know what's going on, what's happening, because it is your name. Because it is your name and it is important. You don't want your name to be mud. So now, she's got people like I said, like Ashton Kutcher. He's out there tweeting, and then somebody said, well, what about? And somebody said, well, what about the staff? What about her staff? And he said, valid point. Valid point. So it doesn't matter. This is what I always tell people. It does not matter what we want to call people's stations are or their positions are in this world. Because as far as I'm concerned, we are all supposed to be equal. So in my mind, there is no one. The only person that's better than me is Jesus. That's the only one that's better than me, and that's my Creator. Anybody else, if you breathing and walking and talking around on two legs like I am, you're no better than me. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care how many companies you own. I don't care how many board of directors you sit on, what your CEO, president, whatever. I don't care about any of that stuff. You are absolutely no better than I am. And so you got staff who's working. You probably got young people that's interns who's probably trying to get into the industry, and they really don't want to speak up, and they just allow certain things to happen. I'm gonna say this: I don't allow anybody to talk to me like they crazy. Don't talk to me like out the side of your ear like you don't have good sense. You whatever respect that you want, you better give it. So you give it, and I'm gonna give it back to you. If you talking to me crazy and disrespecting me, guess what? I'm not gonna respect you. That's a given. That's just a given. So maybe all of them, maybe everyone needs to learn respect on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and need to make it clear that no one is any better than anyone else. That's just how I feel. Now, since we're talking about producers and on these different shows, let's talk a little bit about Amanda Seales. If you guys remember Amanda Seales, and she was on The Real, and she was there for like 6 months, and she opted not to sign a new contract with The Real. Now, what I found today said everybody's show numbers are down, not just Ellen's, but The Real and I forgot. I think Wendy Williams. So a lot of people's shows, their ratings are down. And if you guys didn't know, I liked her as a kid actress, but Drew Barrymore, she's getting her own talk show. So her new show is coming on in the fall. Now, as much as I like Drew, I don't know how Drew's gonna be as a talk show host.
All right, all bases covered.
Okay, cool. So everything is set up before I guess, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Good job. Thank you for that, because I should have done it. So thank you. I appreciate that. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, you all don't see all the stuff, but they do, and I don't give them as much credit as I probably should, but I give them enough. But no, but they do, and I'm busy doing here. They're around doing other things that you guys can't see. So I truly appreciate all the hard work that they put in there. And so I was just going to jump to my girl Amanda Seales. Now Amanda has come out and said, and what we don't know is Amanda is very vocal about. Hey, Chris, he said, good afternoon, Ellen, Brianna. Hey, Chris, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. So, Amanda said, okay, first of all, she holds a degree in African American Studies. So she's very vocal about, she said there are things that she wanted to get out, that she know, and she wanted to communicate in a certain way that people of our ethnicity, of our ethnic, will be able to relate to. And she wasn't really allowed to express herself in that way.
I will say this about Amanda Seales. I remember because I told you, I said, oh, Amanda Seales is going to be on The Real. And I remember I told you what she about. I'm like, that ain't going to fly.
You did. You were very vocal about that.
Because I was like,
you were very adamant about that. And I was like, but why?
Because I listened to her podcast. She had a podcast. I'm like, that ain't going to work. Because she says certain stuff and she means what she say. And
she's not apologetic about it.
And how they are on The Real, I'm like, that ain't going to work. And I was proven. She stayed longer than I thought. But
because she stayed 6 months. Yeah, it didn't even seem like 6 months to me. It seemed like maybe like 4 like maybe 4 or 5 months or something up in
I
there.
knew she wasn't gonna be on there a year. That much I knew.
And so she came in and she said one of the issues that she had was when they're doing what she said black segments, and you talking about maybe black history or something involving black people. She said they had this. She said now keep in mind she said they came to her, this white young producer, associate producer came to her, and she was the one that was going to help with this segment. Now Amanda said, she said this is a game that was created for black folks for us to play. How come she said this white they sent me this white young producer, and she said when there was 3 other producers that were black women and 1 black man that was there, that they could have come and worked in the segment with her. But she said you send me this this girl who can't really relate. So she said the girl left, she said, and I told her that she didn't understand, and I didn't have time to explain to her. So she said she ran off crying, to the other executives, that I was being mean to her. And then she said when I was simply me saying, why can't I get one of these other producers that are black that knows and understand what I'm talking about?
Hey Amanda, if you got a new show, call me.
Brianna, if you got a new show, call her. Brianna is crazy, and so I applaud.
I can work with her, but how would you?
She's genuine.
But okay, let me just go here. She's doing games for black people for Black History Month. How you gonna send a little white girl?
And that's exactly what she said. She said when there were not one step, but there were 3 other black women that are producers that you could have given to me, but you sent her. So it does beg the question: why would they do that?
And see that's the thing. Then she go off crying.
Did she get her feelings?
Because the girl been, when nobody be mean to you, boo, you ain't black.
And if somebody's trying to put something together, I don't have time to school you
to explain
on what needs to be done or how this game is going to work, or even like certain words or certain phrases that we use in our culture that you probably don't get. So I don't have time to explain that to you. This is what people are saying about being aware and being culturally sensitive, or if open your mind, open yourself up, open your mind up to other cultures. You just a young white girl and you don't get it. So I would be like Amanda too. I don't have time to explain nothing to you. I'm trying to put together my segment. And anybody knows that you're trying to, even like when you're on the radio, even like when we're doing, you're putting together
segments. That takes a lot of work, and you don't
Yep.
have time to sit there and hold your hand like, okay, this
Absolutely.
means this. This means that.
Absolutely.
We gotta write stuff down. We gotta keep it moving.
Yep.
So I don't want, like I said, when I saw Amanda Seales to the real, I'm like, that is not gonna last
Yep.
long.
Yeah. So
because I know what she's about. She promote, the black.
She's all about the black culture. She wants to make sure black people have a voice.
Right. She's
That's
the
her
black
thing.
culture. She's black women. She's feminist.
Yes.
All
yes,
that.
she is.
So
yes, she is.
That is. I was like,
Yeah, that she's and then she said she liked all the co-hosts, but sometimes she said like sometimes that Lonnie would speak up and say, y'all go ahead and let her speak, and there was a couple times I saw Lonnie Love do that, but I also think that Lonnie Love knows how to play the game, and I think she plays that game very, very, very well. She's not one that I would trust to sit on a chair side by side with me, because I think if given the opportunity, I think she will stab you in the back. I think she absolutely will.
Now, if anybody probably had a point on Lonnie, probably was Tamar.
And you know why that is? Because they probably were very similar. So it was a comedian that said they said it was only really room for one, as I think they called it, one ghetto girl or something like that. So it was a comedian that came out and said Lonnie had basically said something like that to her. Now Lonnie Love said she never said that, but if she did, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, y'all were pretty ghetto. Lonnie, but ghetto. Tamar, yeah, and I'm not gonna get on Tamar. Like I said, Tamar is dealing with her emotional issues and mental health issues. But what I want her to stop doing is I want her to stop talking about the networks. I mean, I think they need to be talked about, and if they're not doing something right, but I want her to be accountable for herself. That I really do. So it's funny that we're talking about this, and we're talking about women that's coming up, that's having these shows, and they are being executive producers and all these producers hats and things like that.
Chris brought it. He said, why would you think Lonnie Love would be a backstabber?
Ooh, you know what? Chris, I'm going to tell you like this. It's a woman thing. Women feel certain things about other women, and Lonnie Love just comes across. Now, when she first came on the reel, I thought she was cool as all get out. But the more you watch her, and I've watched her over the different seasons, the more you watch her, I'm saying this heifer has an issue. This heifer has a problem. And I just it's just a feeling that I have about her that I just think she will. I think she will, and I think probably Tamara's never gonna say anything. She's never gonna say anything. But I think after a while, you get to see people's real genuine nature about themselves. And Lonnie not coming across it anymore. She's coming across less than genuine over the seasons. That's how she's coming across, in my opinion.
She come across as like that Me First personality.
Yep. And because think about it, and this is the thing I have working with a lot of women. And I'm a woman. You all can see I'm a woman. But working with a bunch of females, God.
Let me explain this. I have no problem being in a room full of males.
I echo those sentiments exactly.
I wholeheartedly welcome that. And it's certain women I can work with.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I pass.
And you know what? And people, when people gonna get into our butt about it, gonna say, you know what? I'm not putting down any females whatsoever.
My personal preference. I can work with
certain women you can't work with.
But
some,
certain can't.
Yep.
But now Chris asked another question. He said, so would the same woman thing be applied to the other co-hosts?
Do I like the other women?
Would you apply that same woman thing to the other co-hosts?
That they are untrustworthy or?
Yes.
No, because you know what? I think Jeannie Mai is a very genuine person. Adrienne Bailon, I think Adrienne is who she is, but I just think she's a little airheadish.
She flaky.
Right, exactly. I think she is exactly who she is, and I think so is Jeannie Mai.
But you can kind of see Lonnie's change
over the seasons, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that Tamara. I think Tamara tried to keep them all grounded and tried to stay on an even keel, but they just didn't. Okay, but they just it's like she would say something and they'll be like yeah, but after a while they really stopped, kind of like, paying her that much attention. And I think over the season, I think she started feeling that her opinion really was not really being valued or her being validated. So I think that's probably where she came from. And then, like we said a couple weeks back, if one of her reasons too was because she wasn't getting paid the way some of the others were getting paid, then I would have felt a certain way too, and I would have walked too. I would have walked as well. But I just said this, and I know we're in that time where everybody, women this and women that, and I'm all for this because I think we should, I think we should, be more behind, the cameras, executive producing. I think we should do all of that. And I have worked with black women, I've worked with white women, I've worked with Hispanic. I have worked the gamut with women of all ethnicities, and I'm telling you, when it's more than two. Well, Brenda, I can work with more than two of them. When it's more than like 5 of them, I don't know if we feel like at some point we have to become what a lot of women like to say, the B word. I don't know if we feel like we have to become that or become act more like a man or something. I don't know what it is.
And it's kind of because you start working with like more women. And I don't know if it's like...
Do it become the catty stuff?
It's catty, and then you have some that they get like in a position of power.
Yes.
Then they want to get bitchy and
bossy.
Yes. And then you want to tell people that's been there longer than you, and you looking like...
Yeah. And then too...
Can I help you?
And then too, as women, we have to stop being afraid that another woman's going to come in and steal your position. I've always had this attitude. As long as I'm doing my job and I know I'm doing it to the best of my ability, I'm not worried. I don't worry about someone coming in and saying that they're going to take my job. I don't worry about that because I'm doing mine. Now, if you want to fire me over some BS, then you just fire me over some BS. But one thing you'll never be able to say is that I fired Elle because she didn't do her job. If you tell that, if you ever say that, I'll tell you you're lying because that's not who I am. and we're gonna take a break, and we're coming back